us about where season 2 starts.
I think it's been a little bit of time since the season finale. A few months have passed. I think we can assume the baby is safe and with Rebecca somewhere we don't know. And Francesca Guerrera is the werewolf who is in charge of all the werewolves, and those werewolves have been reproducing those moonlight rings. So now you're looking at a small army of werewolves who are faster, stronger, more dangerous, and whose bite can kill vampires and mess up originals. So she has a small army, and she's made an alliance with the witches. So if the beginning of the first season was the vampires are in charge, Marcel has the witches held in subjugation, he's got Davina hidden in the attic, it's a complete reversal. Now we've got a gangster in charge who's bloodthirsty and dangerous. She's got an alliance with the witches who also have a vendetta against the vampires, and they are going to take control of the city. And Klaus knows that funneling through all that is the presence of Esther, and Esther may not want what's best for the baby. So if I'm going to make sure that my child is safe, I'm going to have to wipe out anyone who would possibly do her harm. So Klaus and Elijah and Marcel are going to have to decide how they can enact a plan to destroy the threat to the baby. And into that comes Haley, who's reeling from having become a hybrid. She no longer has a connection to her werewolf people. This was a big and important part of her journey in season 1. She came to New Orleans looking for her family. She found her family and found that they needed her as much as she needed them, and she was going to be a leader to them. And then that completely fell apart when she became a hybrid. And yet she looks at the witches and the werewolves and this bizarre alliance that they have, and she says, I want to be able to free my people from that deal. And so she's going to have to find a way to do that. And I think her journey to get to that point is going to be very exciting. And all of it is in an effort to make New Orleans safe so that they know that their child will be okay.
We've seen some hints of, very strong connection
Pretty strong connection, yeah. I mean, they kissed twice.
Yeah. So,
I'm not playing subtle with it.
There were reasons that, couldn't put us together. But are we still going to see, this desire for them to be
I mean, for us, it was very interesting to take a look at, a forbidden love affair. And, Elijah's whole goal is to save his brother from eternal damnation as a hybrid monster. And it would be like knowing that your brother was an addict and trying to get him off the jump, And he's trying desperately to do that. And at the same time, the heart wants what the heart wants. You can't control who you fall in love with. And when he sees this woman kind of on her own and not being taken care of, he sympathizes with her, he feels for her, and in taking care of her, they develop a connection. And he knows it's wrong. And in fact, a connection with Haley is inconducive with helping his brother. So now he's like, what do I do? Especially now that she needs me the most because she's been made a hybrid. Meanwhile, Haley is thinking, God, I'm a vampire now. Elijah hates vampires. Elijah looks down on vampires. Is he going to look down on me? My werewolf community is looking down on me. I'm kind of looking down on myself. Can I be in a relationship with a guy who thinks that I'm a disgusting vampire? And I'm a hybrid. Who else is a hybrid? Klaus is a hybrid. Am I going to be able to learn anything about being a hybrid from this guy who I also happen to have a child with and who we are both mourning the loss of that child? So I don't know that I would call it a romantic triangle because I think that kind of takes away from the complexity of it. I think it's more like these are three people that have survived a very awful, difficult, disastrous incident. They've lost a child, and one of them died and came back basically as a hybrid monster that she does not want to be. And now we're going to play the fallout of that. At the same time, they have no shortage of enemies that they need to deal with. So even though they might not want to be on the same team necessarily, they kind of have to join forces to do what's best for the child. And I think that's where a lot of the drama comes from. The conflict of having to do stuff that you might not necessarily want to do or feel comfortable doing.
Speaking of the same team, how about Klaus and Marcel? They've been on opposite sides a lot. Where are we going to see them this coming season?
I think that at the end of season 1, episode 122, we saw Marcel save that baby. and we saw what to me felt like a genuine reconciliation. In episode 21, Klaus and Marcel are going at it, hardcore. And in 22, they kind of made a peace. And Marcel admitted, I was wrong to bring your father to town. I was, angry. I was envious of the power that you had. You were keeping me from Rebecca. I can't be a man if you're going to stand over me and give me orders. So I did something that maybe I shouldn't have done. And Klaus says, but you made up for it because you saved my baby. And so now they're going to be in a pretty interesting place where they've forgiven each other, but can they trust each other? Can they be friends? And do they have the same ultimate goals in mind? I think they both want New Orleans, but right now they've got bigger problems. They've got Francesca and the werewolves, and Marcel took out those werewolves back in the 1920s. So if Klaus wants to know, how do I take out those werewolves, an interesting asset, an interesting ally to have is Marcel. So strange bedfellows, and also because they're connected in this team up against the force of the wolves and the witches, I think it is a father-son relationship, and there is a closeness there that I think I'd really love to explore with those actors. So we'll be seeing more of that.